Greetings, all. This is Malik Assad Jafar, philosophical philosopher and superstar. Um, I Today's topic that I wanted to kind of talk about was um, heaven, if you will. I want to kind of talk about heaven just for a second or two, and again, the videos that I produce are to generate, thought-provoking paradigms, uh, become introspective within your own dynamic, and uh, not to go into too too much of a specific dynamic in regards to myself, but here recently I've dealt with some things that has caused me to contemplate mortality, if you will, human existence. There's been a loss, if you will, and so uh, uh, people adjust to grief and loss in a number of different ways. And uh, one of my coping skills is that I become philosophical. I problem solve. I try to look and address certain issues to give me a clearer understanding, or at least give me more peace of mind about my dynamic. And so, before I specifically go into the question per se, I want to present some things that I found out about. There are a lot of different religions out there, and there are a lot of different ideas in regards to what heaven actually is. And we've got the Taoist, if you will, Taoist, yeah, I believe so. And I don't claim to be knowledgeable uh, about the different religions, but I do have some insight on the religions. For example, in the Taoist religion belief system, there are 36 heavens. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's a lot of heavens, you know. The Hindu belief system has several levels of heaven. I don't know what that is. There's several levels of heaven, and with the Muslim belief system, there is a Jannah, or Jannah, or paradise is what they would like to call it. Christians have, from what I understand, a level of heaven with streets of gold and angels and things of that nature. You've got Buddhists, uh, 26 heavens. Uh, there's even one called a Pastafarian. I'm not disrespecting anybody's religion or belief system, but a Pastafarian, if you don't believe me, look it up. Okay, but the Pastafarian has beer volcanoes and stripper factories, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe hell has the same difference, except the beer volcanoes, all the beer is flat, and the strippers all have STDs. Crazy. Okay, uh, the Baha'i religion, or Bahai religion, uh, talks about heaven being a nearness to God. Um, Jainism, or Jainism, is about reincarnation. And then you have Skism, or Sikhism, and I hope I didn't incorrectly state this, but Jainism is a type of cosmology, and Skism is a type of reincarnation. Vikings have Valhalla. The Aboriginals have what was called dream time, and the Native Americans have a spirit form that goes into turning into an animal of some sort. Now, I could be off, not by much though, and based on what it is I'm explaining. But getting right into it, the question that I have is what does your heaven look like? Does your heaven have these other heavens there? Do you have neighbors? Meaning, do you have other religions that are there? Or is your heaven solely of your religious belief system? I want to present this real quick. You have a Buddhist man who's 80 years old and he passes. And then you have a Christian man, Buddhist man from China. Christian man, black man, whatever color man you want him to be, he's a Baptist, whatever. He's a Christian, and he's in Mississippi. He's 80 years old as well, and he passes. Now you've got two men who live basically identical lives, been righteous, promoted their word of their faith their whole life long. They're 80 years old. They live a long life, and they pass. Is one going to heaven and one going to hell? Well, there's certain people who will believe that one of those persons will be going to an eternal damnation because of the refusing to accept one belief. Okay, and one. I mean, I'm sure one or the other might think this way, but what I'd like for people to kind of put in perspective is, and as morbid as this might seem, think about your heaven. Think about the different people who are there. Do some research on the other heavens. I'm not saying change your faith. I'm just saying become well versed on the different entities that you might run into in the afterlife. The different entities that you might encounter in your passing. And if we could have a fullness of this world of having multicultural dynamics that are taking place and we're exposed to it, are we supposed to, pretty deep, but are we supposed to go to heaven if that's what you believe in, and then have this form of segregation of only Christians here and Buddhists here and Muslims here? Is that what we're supposed to have? Is that how it works? I don't know. I've never died and come back. And I've never spoke to anyone that has been able to give me clarity on that idea. But I'm just saying, I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. What I'm saying is that I would rather have the idea or the concept of a multicultural heaven where there are different faiths and beliefs, existing as a total sum of one, than to feel like I'm segregating myself and bounding myself to an idealism that was a part and attached to this earthly shell that's here right now. I think the contemplation of this might even build your character some. So if you haven't done it, maybe you should. Maybe it's not such a bad idea to think about. And if you're not into having a heaven that has all these other different religious belief systems in it, then that's fine. Think about what your heaven looks like. At least. Because at the end of the day, when we all pass and we do move on to another level, and we have no comprehension, understanding, or point of reference, I would hate for my soul to just wander through life not knowing a place in particular where it would be considered safe. Sorry for all the disruptions. A little bit busy today, but I felt compelled to speak on this. It was on my heart, so I wanted to put it out there, and I hope it gives y'all something to talk about amongst your friends, peers, family. Wouldn't it be amazing if all the family members spoke about one particular type of heaven, and then when you died, you would all go where there is talk about releasing some anxiety about the idea of passing. It would almost seem like a celebration or going on a tour to a new place. But let me not get started on that. With that said, stay safe, be blessed, stay positive in your thoughts, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.